is I'm gonna start a little new series. I've been planning, like no joke, I've been planning on doing this for probably like 2 or 3 years at this point. Probably like 2 years. So instead of doing, I always had the idea of like a Halo Racing documentary, and like that could be a thing eventually. That could be its own thing. But I thought that tonight, just to start, instead of doing that, I was gonna do a little series, little HRL history series. Let me get the docs up on the side. If I could find the docs for this race, that would be insane. I probably won't, but I'm gonna try. But yeah, gonna be starting a little. I'll be posting this on YouTube, little HRL history series. I don't know if it's just gonna be a thing that I do on Mondays. I'm just starting it now because I felt like it, basically. So yeah, I don't want to like just say for certain that it's gonna be something that I'm gonna do every Monday. So like don't expect it every Monday night or every Monday whenever. I'm probably just gonna do it whenever I feel like it, and when I think I have a decent idea for a schedule, I will relay that information if I ever come up with a decent idea for a schedule. Just finding the docs that I do have. I know I don't have everything, but I'm just trying to find what I can. Okay. That was sick. I think I found the race result doc, which is about the best I could do for this race. That's probably the best I could do. Alright, so starting off our first episode of HRL history. Actually, there is a way. I wanted to give the date for this race, and I think I found out a way, even though I couldn't find the schedule. I think I found out a way I might be able to figure out the date for this race. So I'm gonna look at that here in a second. Oh god, oh god, oh god, Lil Luch, oh Jesus. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. Way blast from the past here. Alright, before we get started, let me check. I think I just thought of a way I might be able to cheese figuring out the date of this race. I know that's the upload date, but that might not be perfectly accurate. Daytona right there. Okay, is that right? What is that date? July 9th? Wait, what? Wait, what? How does that work? Huh. Weird. Let me see if the date on the... That is weird. So the date I have for this race is July 21st. But the day I uploaded it is like July 9th. So I'm guessing July 9th, like that's probably the correct date, or that's close. I might have done it the night after, or a few nights after. So July 9th, it's somewhere within the realm of like July 6th to July 9th, 2012. So remember, this is HRL history. So this is like, this race in a few months will be spanning first HRL race. I'd love to get the exact date of this if I could eventually find that schedule doc. It spans back in 3 months here, this year 2019. Will span back about 7 years in the past, which is crazy at this point. So you don't want to say it's like, you don't want to say that we've been running for 7 years consistently, because of course there's been like breaks here and there, but it's still a long freaking time with all that stuff considered. So that's like a cool little thing to start off with. Previous versions of docs right showing when they would have been updated at the time of the results. Oh, it's super old though. Like the doc that I'm doing is super old. I don't know if I'd be able to go that far back. I could try it in a little bit, but like it's that update would have been a really old update. So I don't know. I'll have to double check it. All right. So I'm just gonna conk the commentary for these heats just to save you some cheese, but I'm gonna play it for the feature because it's gonna be funny. So this first race, this is super OG, and it's going to be tough to watch. As you can see, 2012, no 720p, no 1080p either. None of that shit. Literally recording my TV with the camera. That's how this started, so that was sick. And as you can see, the quality ended up being amazing. Hold on, let me see. I'm just going to pull up the feature on the side. Oh no, the quality did not improve very much. I stretched it a little bit. Maybe a little bit better. A little bit better review, but it's not too good. But as we go through this, we started off, I think the first race was with 8 people, and when I get to the commentary and the feature, young Luch, let me think about that for a second. What, 13-year-old Luch? Holy shat. Is that correct? Yeah. 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 Yeah, 13-year-old Luch. We'll go through like who's in it and everything, but I'm just showing these heats to give you an idea of the track. So the track they were racing on here was made by Edward. And this track is super futchin' OG. Super nice Daytona Speedway. Like for Halo Reach standards, this track was amazing. And you can definitely tell like the difference between Reach and Halo 5, Halo 4, all that stuff as we go through the series. We go through all that, but especially with this track, you can really tell the differences between Reach forging and Halo 5. For one, you can tell that piece count already an issue in Halo 5, way bigger issue very often in Halo Reach, because I'm pretty sure this track was built with a modded map, and even then they had trouble like managing the piece limit. So that's also, you can kind of see it there. He also included the road course, so that's really cool. So when I make a Daytona layout at some point in Halo 5, I do want to try to include that road course because that's like a cool little detail. So yeah, this Daytona circuit was pretty awesome for what we had in Halo Reach, and you can even tell like with the way the corners exit and stuff like that. I think some people still do tapered corner exits like that, but we see a lot more styles of corner entries and exits in Halo 5. It's not always like the tapering that's done here, so you see a lot more variety there. Also, you just see a lot more aesthetics in general. Like with this track, they were really pushing the limits, so most of it's just the track. And you probably saw when we were going through the turn over there that there's nothing on the infield over there, so you could just fall off the track if you got really unlucky. I mean, it would cause a caution, but if you got really unlucky, you could just fall off the track, and that would just absolutely suck. I'm assuming we're going to the last lap here, so enjoy young Luch for the end of this heat race. Oh God, prepare your ears.
Is falling back and just trying to take advantage of that and get past him. I know I'm not doing a great job. This is my first time announcing. Andrew's making a move. He's trying his best to get past Alex, and he can't. He even falls back a little bit. Jared's going to try to pass Andrew, and he can't make it. Just not enough time. And that will conclude heat race number 1. Your finishing order was Yoshi in first, Alex in second, Andrew in third, and Jared in 4th. Now we move on to heat race.
So that's how you know these videos are going to be interesting. First heat of HRL history, and there's probably one name, which is kind of funny. The name that it is, there's probably one name there that you recognize. All right, let's get on to the next one. I'm just going to talk more about other cheese as I play this heat in the background. But yeah, so talking more about Halo Reach, the Forge, stuff like that. These tracks were really tough to make, the ovals, because you would just have to put so many pieces into it, whereas with Halo 5, you can still put a lot of pieces into it, but you can be a lot more precise with your piece management in Halo 5. And on top of that, let's get to when the actual racing starts. Probably doing an intro there. All right, we'll go about right there. On top of that, you just have a way bigger, like, the sky is the limit in Halo 5 pretty much. You can do so much. Like, the track that I just made, actually, one of the tracks I just made, Goaty, is a pretty good example of what you can get away with in Halo 5. Like, that track is just a testament to, like, what you can dream up and actually achieve in that game's Forge, which is just insane. Like, for example, if you went to me, like, if I were to go to me, time travel to me at this point, like, producing this video, and just show me all the shat that we have now, I would be absolutely mind blown at everything. Like, really, the Forge, just the way the game looked, the graphics, the quality of video that I'd be coming up with, the fact that I was streaming the races, literally so many factors. Like the docks being super good. I might show the old docks. The old docks are pretty trash, but the docks being really well organized and just looking a lot better, working a lot better, actually having formulas in them and stuff like that to make things easier. Like, I would just be absolutely mind blown. So things were just way different at this point in time. Another thing too, that would probably be mind blowing, as you can tell, this track's on Forge Island, or Forge Island. What was it? Oh, now I can't remember what it's called. Oh no, oh no. Help me out. Someone's got to remember. Or is it Forge Island? What is this called? What is the canvas called? I honestly don't remember. But another thing to be mind blown by would be in Halo Reach, you only have this like one canvas pretty much. I mean, I think you could go to maybe some of the multiplayer maps, do stuff, but it was limited. So pretty much everything you see is going to be made on this canvas. Whereas on Halo 5, Halo 4 even, MCC, I believe, you have a lot of different canvases to work from. So that way you can do just so much more with how you want tracks to look. For example, on Halo 5, like you have the desert to work with, you have alpine, you have the snowy, tundra, you have tidal, which you can do a lot with that, even with the water. There's just so many options in Halo 5 compared to this game. And I think we're getting close to last lap here, so let's let Young Luch close this one out again for the heat. Forge World, there you go, Futchin' Forge World.
Alex H.
Hell yeah.
Has caught up a little bit, but still just not enough time. Not enough time. Luke loses a little bit of speed. He's gonna run. It looks like he's gonna run the far inside. He's gonna try to make up that spot, but he lost a lot of speed. He's trying his best to get by Tristan, but Tristan's gonna hold on to that spot right there at the tri-oval. Tristan wins the second heat race. Alex Hayden in third, and Seth in fourth.
I don't know. So again, me and Jared are literally the only we're the only names that you're gonna recognize through all these for this first race. As we go through Halo 4 races and stuff, there will be As we go through Halo 4 races and stuff like that, there will be slowly over time more racers that you recognize. Maybe more voices. I don't know if there's any like game chat or anything. Probably not. Yeah, slowly but surely we'll get more and more stuff that you're going to be familiar with. So that's why it's kind of cool going to these.
Here we're going to look at the replay of what happened.
You're going to see some old stuff. You're going to see racers that you've never even seen, tracks that you've never seen before, and just a lot of history here. So again, we're just going through the first race here. And I don't want to show the docs yet because I literally just have the result doc. So that kind of spoils everything. So I don't really want to show the results doc. So we're just going to hold off on that. Actually, I have some more to talk about for this track and for this race. But just to like get another clear look at everybody, like the best that you can see. Okay, this quality isn't great. I'm just gonna let Young Luch go through the intro here, and then once we get into the battling, I can go over some of that stuff, and then get back to it at the end with the finishing order, stuff like that. How this race played out, because it's actually a pretty good race for a first race. All right.
Now you can hear the sound.
Try my best to hype it up.
Louder and louder. That is
Tried my
because
best.
we have all 8 drivers from the heat races
really
on
did.
the track. The heat races are over. We are moving on to the feature race, the A main. This is the big one. It is going to be 30 laps. The heat races were only 5. This is 30 laps. Your lineup will be Jared in first, then Andrew, in second, Alex N in third, Yoshi in fourth, Alex H in fifth, Luke in sixth, Tristan in seventh, and Seth in eighth. Seth was moved back to eighth instead of where he should have started, which is fifth, because he was messing up the restart, and he's also a rookie, and we told him sorry, but you're going to have to start in the back, because he could just, in the big race, he could just not get the first start going down.
Alright, so, I'll talk about the point system and stuff too, and like how these, how this start was arranged based off the heats, because some of that kind of like applies to present day. So another thing I should go over, because you hear it mentioned a little bit, like here and there, although a lot of people that even say it, like some people in Halo 5 know what it is, even though they've probably never experienced it. You hear reach drafting mentioned a lot, occasionally on ovals, and I don't think. We'll see. I don't think there's any reach drafting examples, unfortunately, throughout this race. Although, in other reach races on this track, that is something that you see a lot, and that's because, like I said, reach drafting like is kind of a meme on Halo 5, but on this game, reach drafting was legit. You can actually kind of see it there. Oh shit, that's actually an example of it. Hold on, I did not think there was going to be an example of it. So like, this quality's ass, alright? But in Halo Reach, right there you can see your speed in kilometers per hour, and I think they should be getting pretty close to 90 here. I believe the max that you were supposed to get under normal conditions was 95 kilometers per hour. But when you like rubbed your gooses together like this, that's the best way I can explain it, I swear. But when you would like do this on straightaways, or you could even do it in turns if you were really good, and it was hard to do because the lag cheese was a thing, the screen lag, all that stuff, that was a thing on this game. So it was really hard to do, especially when you're doing it with someone that you have bad screen lag with, but you could do it. It would raise your speeds higher than they would normally be able to go. So for example, normally it's 95 kilometers per hour. You could sometimes, I think the highest I've seen it get is like 111. I'm not even kidding. Like 95 to 111, maybe a little bit like 111 to 113 range. So if you had a really good reach draft going, it got pretty crazy. So just watch this here. You can tell it's 2 numbers, and I think you can see for just a little bit it goes up to 3. Like right there, it was just going to 3, just switching to 3. Like you could see it. So they're like just getting over 100. So I'm not sure which 2 drivers these are. I don't even think they're doing it intentionally. I think they're just rubbing with each other to try to fend each other off. But they just happen to be. Oh, Jared's actually one of them. I think it's Yoshi and Jared. So I don't even think they're doing it intentionally. Yoshi might be, because I know Yoshi knew about the tactic. I don't think Jared did. So I think incidentally they were just doing it there. But that was actually pretty cool. I didn't think that happened. So there you go. There, if you didn't have any concept of reach drafting, how it actually worked, like there's what it was. And I'm not even kidding with the numbers that I mentioned. You could actually, like an average reach draft would probably be like, oh, they're doing it here too. Jared's holding me off. They didn't really get it started. But yeah, I would say an average reach draft, probably in the realm of like 106 kilometers per hour average. The 110s and stuff like that, that you had a good freaking draft going. That was hard to do. So that would not happen. Usually if you got into the 110s, that meant you were about to crash out. Somebody's about to have a lag flip, which is a big risk of the reach drafting. That could happen a lot. Sometimes you'd have a reach draft going for a while, and then eventually it just gets too crazy. You have that thing that still happens on Halo 5 sometimes. I'm sure anybody that's raced on Halo 5 know what I'm talking about, where like when you're rubbing with someone, sometimes like if the lag is super bad, you'll just like randomly get on top of them, and then you like can't get off them, is the best way I can explain it, and then you just like flip out. That's kind of what would happen with the reach drafting. So that would happen after a while. But if you had 2 people that were really good at it, you could be pretty consistent with it. You just needed 2 people that were genuinely good at reach drafting, and there was a little bit of randomness to it, but there was also a skill gap to it, and I definitely think there was a strong skill gap to it, even with, oh my god, even with the slight, I just read that quote, that threw me off. Even with the slight lag cheese, there was still definitely a skill gap to it, so that's kind of how it went. So for this race, I think that it's starting to single out a little bit. I think that we did, I could go through the checkpoint system. So you saw it there for a second. When I went on board right there. So the checkpoints, the way they worked in Reach, the way we can do it in Halo 5, where you just hit one checkpoint and you go a lap, I don't think you could do that in Reach. I don't think it was possible. And one thing that always, I'm not gonna lie, always bothered me about ORL, even though, you know, all the positive things about ORL, one thing that really bothered me about it, especially in Halo Reach, was that they would do Supercross tracks. They'd put like 11 checkpoints on it, or there'd be like 13 checkpoints on it, so it'd be like really weird sets of numbers, and that was just annoying. That was just annoying to be like, oh, 52, alright, I'm on lap 4. Like, that was really frustrating. Whereas in Adrenaline, and especially because they cut off the track, so you couldn't really cut the track and reviewed the film and stuff like that, I don't understand why they needed that many checkpoints. It never made sense to me. But in these races here, for these early HRL races and the Adrenaline races on ovals and stuff like that I participated in, there would be, for the most part, there would be 2 checkpoints on the track, and that is how we would do it. That is how we would do it. 2 checkpoints would count up to a lap. I think you could only do a maximum of 100 laps. So how we got around that, another little fun fact here, just going through all the fun facts in this first Reach video. How we got around that, especially in Adrenaline, a lot of Adrenaline races would go above 100 laps, so you'd have to get a workaround that, like, oh, 2 checkpoints, you know, you get to checkpoint 200, that's lap 100, like, how do you circumvent that? What they would do is they would place a checkpoint at the start-finish, a checkpoint on the backstretch, and then they would place a 3rd checkpoint at the start-finish. I'm probably doing it in the wrong order. I am. And then a 4th checkpoint on the backstretch. And what that would do is you'd essentially just be able to run more laps, because then it would be 4 checkpoints would count as a lap, but the way they set up the checkpoints, it would take 2 laps to get 1 lap the way it's counted in-game. I explained that the best I could, so hopefully you're not too confused, but that is how we got around it. So that way, for example, you could go do like a 400 checkpoint race and get way more laps in. So that was kind of cool. I thought that was a cool little strategy that we had there to circumvent that issue. All right, we're going on to part 2 here.
Here we're gonna look at the replay.
Wait, let's
He was
listen to
running
this
the
for a
hard
sec.
inside out of turn 4, and he just got in the air. It shook up Alex in a little bit too.
Checkpoint reach. Lap complete.
Now we're gonna get back to the racing. Luke.
That was hot. So yeah, just little interesting things here and there. I always thought the checkpoint solution was kind of cool. But yeah, obviously, again, like all the things that would blow my mind, we have it way better now with Halo 5. Whereas, of course, with Halo 5, you can just run those laps. Does Halo 5 have an unlimited counter? I think it does, right? Halo 5 has unlimited. So yeah, as far as I can remember, that was not a thing in Reach, which is why we had to do the special way to fix it. So yeah, and obviously in Halo 5, it's really nice for pit stops, like especially with in this game, the leader would get an extra checkpoint. That's how you knew who the leader was. I'm sure a lot of Reach people remember that. So for example, if it was like, if we just hit lap 31, which would be checkpoint 62, it would be checkpoint 63 for the leader as they cross the line, because the leader gets the extra checkpoint. So just another thing there. So that made, like, of course we did. There's no pits in this race, this early HRL. The adrenaline races would have pits. Early HRL races, no pits here. No pits here for these oval races. There is actually a score limit. It's 30,000. Well, you know what? I don't even think the power hour on frickin' Grizzly would get you there. It'd probably be like power 24 hours, and even then, I don't even know. I might have to do the math on that. I wonder if it'd be close. I feel like it would be a little short. But yeah. No, I lost my cheese. Well, let's go on to something else. Another thing. Oh, I was talking about the pits. So yeah, starting off with this, no pits for these oval races. There is a pit box here though. So for the adrenaline races on here, there'd be pits, and we do the same pit system as the oval series. Oh, you also frickin' race game type got a lap time counter here in Halo Reach. It didn't do like tenths or anything. It just did so like 2 minutes 33 seconds. It's at right there. And it also had a distance to the next checkpoint. So stuff like that was cool. Stuff like that was really cool. Oh, little thing right there. So there's a separate checkpoint in case you took a pit, exiting the pit, so that you'd still get that checkpoint. Otherwise, of course, like if you just had the checkpoint on the finish line, you'd miss a checkpoint going into pits. So the way they did that is they had two checkpoints. So there'd be the finish line checkpoint, there'd be the one exiting the pits. So what that driver right there just did is, I think they got shoved down low and they missed the finish line checkpoint on the restart. So they made a really quick heads-up play to not have to waste time to get their lap count back, and went down and grabbed that pit exit checkpoint to keep on the lead lap and save time. So that was kind of cool. Just a little cool thing there. Yeah, it's really cool that we don't have to do shat like that anymore. But yeah, so having this lap timer was pretty cool. It's unfortunate that it didn't really go to tenths or anything, but that is, you know, I've been going off about stuff in Halo 5 that's awesome. I'll give you one thing, Reach. I'll give you one thing. That lap time was pretty cool, and having the distance to the next checkpoint, that's pretty cool too. So those are two cool, nice things. Also, like I mentioned it earlier, but the frickin' speedometer, like that's cool too. That's actually really dope. So those are a few things from Reach and from Reach Race that I do wish that we could have back in Halo 5, because for all the Halo 5 features that I've mentioned that were super nice, which don't get me wrong, I would take those Halo 5 features over the ones that I'm mentioning right now on Reach that I'm giving it praise for. I would take those Halo 5 features that I mentioned any day over these little things that I'm bringing up now. But I'll admit, these things are pretty cool. Speedometer's pretty cool. Lap time's pretty cool. Distance pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool little detail. Just not something that I would trade out for the other advancements that we've had. Because I know sometimes people get a little nostalgia heavy, and you're probably going to see that. You're probably going to see that with this series. You know, listen to, you know, when we get to the Halo 4 stuff, where we'll have a lot of familiar faces that still race here in Halo 5, especially with the Halo 4 stuff, that'll recognize some of that stuff and probably make their own comments on it. Maybe we could do some dual commentary, stuff like that. And I do notice, especially from, it's not for every community, it's not for every driver, but especially from the ORL community, a lot of people, at least a lot of people that I talk to in that community, always have some major nostalgia goggles looking back on it. And one of the biggest things that I understand why is like how grand the community was. Like that's a pretty big positive. But when it comes to a lot of the technical details, it's very, very nostalgic when people look at it like so positively. Like it really wasn't that great. I think what people remember positively was just like how much bigger the racing community was. That was amazing. And like the fact that you could have 4 or 5, 6 different leagues in Halo Reach. Same goes for Halo 4. You could have enough racers to run divisions and run a league in each of those in each of those leagues. So like that's pretty cool. But there's just, I don't know, there's other stuff where I'm sure we'll get to it with the Halo 4 stuff where people get really nostalgic, and I'm like, it wasn't really that great. But in terms of like the community and the state we're in now with the population and stuff like that, I'm really glad. You know, I've always wanted to be able to do divisions in Halo 5, and unfortunately it just never really worked out. It was never really feasible as much as I wanted it to be. Like, it was just never really feasible. I hope that Halo Infinite has a big comeback, so maybe we can make that a reality. And at that point, which is, yeah, that's looking far into the future, but at this point, if we ever want to see something like that again, we kind of need to look that far into the future. But yeah, so with Halo 5, it's still nice though. I still appreciate that, even though we're like the last league standing, that we're still able to get full lobbies. Like last race, we just got a full lobby. We could have had an LCQ. The fact that that's still happening here, April 23rd, 2019, like that is absolutely amazing. So even though obviously there's been quite a bit of decay in the community, you know, since like Halo 4 peak time period, I do think that the fact that we've still got what we have is something to remember. 'Cause I know people can get a little negative about it sometimes, but like, we're lucky that this is still a thing and that we still have enough to do this league. Like, really, when you think about it, we're lucky that we have that. So I don't know. Where are we getting so far in this race? All right, about a minute left in this video. We're probably getting down to the nitty gritty. I just went over a ton of stuff right there. Let's let Lil Luch close it out here for this part.
Wow, Tristan got a little bit of air there coming out of turn 4. Alex N. still in 4th. Andrew trying to pass him. Jared is in 6th. Not too far behind. But he is definitely far behind from the leaders, as Yoshi has been able to get away from Tristan, and now Yoshi's going to try to catch up to Luke, as Luke switches to running the middle. It looks like Andrew's going to gain a little bit on Alex. There you see Jared. He's fallen back quite far. He's not
Jared!
Restart. Plus, starting a little bit further back because of his caution.
Let's hit Jared with a Luch Snow to make him feel better.
Ooh, there's some contact there. What was that?
Oh! Wait, what happened to the Luch Snow?
Oh, and there's a wreck. Tristan hits the wall, and Andrew hits him. Andrew got collected when Tristan hit the wall there. We're gonna have to look at the replay. That is our third caution of the race.
My Streamlabs is conked. Unfortunately, I cannot. Oh! Let's hit Jared with the Luch Snow. Okay, it loaded. Luch Snow, Jared coming in hot. God damn it. I need to figure out why
this is a test bit alert.
I need to figure out why the image isn't popping up, because that just makes it 20 times better. the freaking, honestly, the sound alone and the text to speech is amazing, but it's so disappointing that the image doesn't pop up. Got to figure that out tomorrow. All right, so let's continue here with part 3. So, all right. Well, I went over a lot, honestly. Let me think. So I think this one went. I think we did a 30-lap race here. I think it went to checkpoint 60. We're around checkpoint 50 here. I'm just gonna let this play out for a little bit. Once we get really close to the end, though, I'm gonna let Lil Luch just, you know, you guys are invested in the race at this point, all right? I'm just gonna let Lil Luch play it out here when we get to that point, when we get really close. We're really close right now, but we're gonna get closer. It's probably a caution right there. What else could I talk about? I got a good idea. This is probably a good thing to close out this first history. God damn it.
Romans by 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 Romans by.
Thanks, Helial.
Romans by Romans by Romans by Romans by Romans by.
Why was there a pause? I'm probably gonna turn those off when I do shit like this. Okay, so as we watch in the background here, remember we're gonna be getting close to the finish. I'll let Lil Luch take over when we get to that. But I just want to go through, because I know a lot of you guys, like I mentioned, there's people in here that you may not recognize. Jared and I, genuinely, I'd be very surprised if anybody like knew anybody in this race that's like watching now, besides Jared and I. Like, I'd be really surprised. So just to explain some of the other drivers that we had here, because it was a really ragtag little group to start things off with. Yoshi was a driver that I became friends with, teaming with him in Adrenaline. So
Romans by 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 Romans by
sick. Going through the rest of the list. So Yoshi was driver that met through Adrenaline, became friends with him. Pretty much all you need to know. Andrew is, I know Detail might know Andrew, or like at least know about him. So there you go. There's one. I actually just texted him earlier today. So friend from kindergarten, really, like all throughout school, and I still talk to him sometimes. Today, like whenever we get a chance to play or hang out or whatever. So, he was here in the very beginning.
by Romans 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 by
Yeah,
Romans by
get timed out,
by
bitch.
Romans by Romans by Romans by Romans by Romans by
All right.
Romans by
Oh my good God. All right. No more bit alerts. No more bit alerts for the rest of this cheese. God damn it. I'm gonna have to remember to do that whenever I do race commentary as well. All right. So going onwards, I can see the wetness on my freaking mic. So yeah, Andrew, friend throughout elementary, still talk to him sometimes today. Tristan, always a good elementary as well, friend and especially racing friend. Andrew wasn't as much into racing, so you don't see him too much after this. But Tristan was always really into racing. He's still into racing now. Does some, I think he works with, I don't remember which drivers it is, but like he's part of a pit crew for some dirt series at our local track, I think, with like modifieds or something like that. So he's still involved in racing heavily in real life and in here. Seth is Alex H, another driver in here's little brother. Alex H, another friend of mine from elementary, and then Alex N, same there. So like pretty much ragtag Luch group here. The only person that like we did not know in real life, that all these people did not know in real life, including myself, was Yoshi. He's literally the only outsider in this group. So there you go. There's the little backstory there in the racers, and you'll see some of these racers return for some of these episodes, especially Tristan, probably mostly Tristan and Sherrod, of course. Let's let Lil Luch close it out because we're getting pretty close to the end.
Now he's going to let him go by. No, he's not. He's going to come right back down and slam into him again. Jared is just watching all of this happen, waiting for there to be a crash or a loss of momentum. Jared's going to move right now, and Alex N blows a motor. Oh, man. You can't blow a motor in Reach. I'm just kidding. Alex N stops on the track. He stops Alex H. Alex N is going to leave this race. Wow. That is going to shovel the positions ever so slightly. Here we go. That was the white flag. Here we go. This is going to be for the checkers. There you see they had to avoid Alex's mongoose. And here they come to the checkered flag. Lucas in first. Will he hold on to it?
Yeah, get conked. Holy shit, I actually had a big
Yes, he
gap.
will. Yoshi's going to come in second. Tristan falls back. It looks like
Oh,
he
get
blew a
conked.
motor as well.
Tristan pulled a real
And
deal.
Andrew passed Tristan at the very end. Whew. There comes Seth tumbling out of turn 4. He's going to finish this race. Oh, man.
Yeah, Tristan.
And Jared.
Yeah,
Jared finished
Yeah.
5th.
that was a fat rip.
Tristan finished 4th. The top 3 was Luke, then Yoshi, then Andrew. Wow. What a race. What a race.
There's still a minute left. Do I do an outro here?
Luke's victory lap race. Whole complication. But freaking hit.
Alright, I think that's pretty much it. So, I just want to watch that against the line again. What happened to Tristan
Will
there?
he hold on to it? Yes, he will. Yoshi's gonna come in second.
Oh, I think he was like trying.
Will he
I
hold on to
think
it?
he still. He talked to me about this for a while. I think Tristan was like trying to be a cuck and like let off and make it a photo finish at the line. and he just accidentally like slammed the fucking brakes
Tristan
and lost that
pulls
spot,
back, it looks
lost
like
the podium,
He blew a motor as well.
and instead he blew a motor. So that was kind of a fun way to end it. So the way I want to end off, I went through a bunch of stuff here in this this first, you know, kicking off pilot episode here. Last thing I want to go through is the only doc that I have. I actually do have one more. So if you guys want to see it, I can pull up the other one, because the other one's just as bad as this one. So let me see if I can find that. There we go. Oh yeah. This other one's terrible too. I'll check that in a sec here. So unfortunately, I do not have the schedule doc. I think I do have it. I just need to find it. It's like placed. I don't know where it's placed. But you know, hopefully I can find that at some point. But here's the best I've got so far, and this is the results doc. And as you can see, the results doc has come a long way. It just makes me like, I'm not gonna change it. Okay, I'm not gonna change anything now, because that would just be dumb. But I just want to do it. I just want to do it. I just want to do shit that we can do now, and I just want to fix it up. But you know, this is in the past. So going through this doc, I think we might have done random.org. Shout out to random.org. Always a big HRL supporter from the start for the heat orders and stuff like that. So I think that's what we did for that. For what we did for the heat finish, I think was an invert. So let's see. Yoshi finished heat 1 in first. He started the feature in fourth. Maybe it was like a half invert or something like that. Let me see, because I finished second. I started in seventh. First it started in second. Yeah, it was confusing. I don't know how to explain it. It was some sort of like half invert. Like if you finished in the top half of the heat, you would start like halfway through the pack in the feature instead of all the way at the back like we do now when we do the reverse orders and stuff like that. So it was, yeah, the heat order and how that worked out for the feature, it was a little bit different. It was modeled after some like real life dirt series that I've watched and stuff like that, where instead of, you know, you win your heat, instead of going to the way back like we do, they send them like about halfway through the field. And I don't know, it's just, I could not explain the system now. I genuinely could not. But it works something like that. If I took the time to look at this, I'd probably figure it out. But it's something like that. Or maybe it's just random for all of it, dude. I don't even remember at this point. We go through the feature finish, though. As you can see, different point systems. So the way this point system worked, 100 points. Again, this is modeled after like a dirt series that we watched and stuff like that. 100 points for the winner, and then it was just 2 points down all the way. And then the bonus points. I have to try to remember the bonus points. So I think we had bonus points for... Let me see if I have any notes on any of these. Oh, I have notes for penalty. It doesn't look like it. So if I could remember all of them. So the bonus points, I think, were a combination of... I think that we actually gave bonus points for the heat races. Like if you did so good in the heat race, I think you would get some bonus points. Or maybe it was just like the heat race win. I think there was most lap sled bonus points here. I think there was lead lap bonus points. And that might be it. Lead lap, most lap lead, and heat points. That sounds right. So unfortunately, I don't remember like the exact system at this point, but that's kind of like how we got there. It's all those, and they somehow add up to what that chat added up to. I don't remember. So like for example, it got kind of weird because I won the feature. But I got 3 bonus points. What did I get the 3 bonus points for? I don't even know. I didn't win my heat, so the heat bonus point must have been huge because you see Tristan and Yoshi, who won their heats, they both have 6 bonus points. That must be, I'm guessing, like a lead lap. This is what I'm guessing here. I'm guessing the heat win was 5 bonus points, which is fat. If you think about the system, that's a fat boost. So that would give Yoshi and Tristan 5 points, plus the lead lap, I'm guessing, would give them 6. And then I'm guessing I had a lead lap in most lap sled. And I'm guessing that lead lap was 1, most lap sled was 2. It's all coming back to me. I think that's actually what it is. So yeah, you can already tell some flaws in this point system with the way it works like that. Because, for example, Yoshi he wins his heat, finishes second in the feature, though, leads a lap, and he ends up he actually gets 1 more point than me on the night. Even though I won the feature event, which is supposed to be like the big thing, he actually walked away from this Daytona first race with more points than me, which is kind of funny. Same interesting thing here with Tristan, that heat win boosted him up so hard that even though he finished in 4th, he got 100 points and walked away like 4 points out of the lead. So yeah, this point system, you know, we've improved with our point system. This chat was weird. But yeah, so there's some insight onto, you know, to how far we've come. And interestingly, the last edit was in 2017. That's interesting. I wonder why that was. But yeah, so there's some insight on like how everything worked, the setup of these races, the format, the bonus points, stuff like that, how far we've come with that. And yeah, hopefully it makes you thankful that we're not in July 2012. That's the goal of this. All right, so for that first episode, I'm gonna have to sign off there. For a second episode, I think we're gonna do another reach race, and if I have it, I think we may do. We actually, the main series was just like how it is now. It was just more oval focused, so it was mostly ovals, but there was still Supercross and there were still GPs. So I'm thinking next week I'm gonna do a reach main series race again. But I'm thinking I'm going to do a Supercross because I think we had more GPs than Supercrosses, so we'll just get the Supercross out of the way and see how far that's come. That'll be a fun little episode to see how bad Supercross was on Reach. So there we go. Cheesing off with this one, and again, if I do it on Mondays, I don't know, maybe sometime next week, we'll have another one of these with a Reach Supercross. So yeah, bon. All right, so when I upload this to YouTube, I'll probably stop it there, but if you guys have any like questions or suggestions on what to do with this series, I'm open to that stuff. So yeah, if you have like I said, any questions or suggestions, any of that stuff,